To what lengths would you go to pass a drug test? Would you climb a mountain? Would you run a marathon? Would you do some sort of rigorous detoxing that involves spending hours in the sauna and drinking some special juices? Or would you simply allow for your friend's piss to enter your own pants? This is an important question you must ask yourself. Well, this story takes place several years ago and it involves a buddy of mine who at the time was a habitual marijuana smoker. That's right. A reefer. He smoked weed a lot and talked about it, and at the time I really didn't smoke weed. I wasn't into it, and I think I'd only tried it once before and I didn't even really get high. Well, we were both around 17, 18 at the time. We both lived with our parents, so you had to follow those dang old household rules. Well, he got in trouble a few times for smoking weed, and his mom got into the habit of drug testing him after the weekend. If she thought he was out partying and getting high on the weekend, she'd hit him with a drug test on Monday. One of those at-home drug tests that you get at the pharmacy. They're not usually very good, but sometimes they get you grounded. Well, we're both working at the movie theater at the time. One of those jobs that I enjoyed doing in the past, but it really didn't pay a lot. And I was a manager at the time, but I really only got paid like a few cents more than everybody else. Well, my buddy comes up to me in a panic one night. He's like, dude, you gotta help me. My mom just texted me. She said she's going to drug test me tonight. I guess she had just got off work. She was a little mad about some interaction that they had earlier in the week. And she said, when I come pick you up from work, I'm going to take you home and hit you with a drug test. Well, he's kind of panicked about this because while he's telling me about this story, he smelled like weed. I think he was smoking that day, like on his lunch break or something. Everybody knows the number one way to pass a drug test is to not do drugs. But if you've already done the drugs, the number two way, I think, is ask for your friend's piss. Well, this was my buddy. I was going to help him, and I'd actually helped him a few times before. You see, what we would do is he would give me a condom to fill with his urine, unused by the way, which I would just pee into as much as I could and then tie it off at the top, like a little elongated piss balloon. Sometimes he'd rinse it off, dry it off, and then stick it in his pocket. But sometimes, you know, it looks good enough. I'll just stick this in my pocket. I always got a kick out of my friend carrying around my urine. There was definitely a few jokes about it, like, hey, is it still warm? Or I better not find out you're drinking that. Or I swear to God, if I see this on eBay, I'm gonna buy it. Well, we actually did this exchange before the end of his shift because he didn't want to do it while his mom got there. She was his ride. She was going to come in the building and say, I'm here to take you home, like she always did. So we do this exchange about 20 minutes before we think she's going to get there. And he still has a little bit of task left to do for his job before he can go home. Basically, I had to take all the trash out. Movie theater trash cans fill up pretty quickly. And you're basically rolling out big bags of soda cups and popcorn to a trash compactor at the end of the night. Well, I'm helping him finish with his last task because I know his mom's coming to pick him up. We go outside to fill the trash compactor up with all the trash bags that we'd taken out of the theater. And this was on a Friday night, so a lot of new movies came out, lots of people showing up. One of the busier days for a theater, so there's just a ton of trash to take out. And I'm doing what any good supervisor in this situation would do, just watching while he does all the work. And he's taking big old bags of trash out of these rolling trash cans, and they're heavy. Some of them are just filled with soda cups that were like halfway drank. Some of them are mostly popcorn and they don't weigh a lot, but some of them are so heavy. He's taking them out of the cans, throwing them in the compactor, taking them out of the cans, throwing them in the compactor. One of them is so heavy, he's trying to pull it out. Sometimes they get locked in there with like this pocket of air and it's hard to pull the bag out. He's just pulling and pulling and pulling. You got to try not to rip the bag when you're in this situation too. So you got to kind of do it nice and slow. You don't want to yoink it and rip a hole in the bag. You rip a hole in a bag, it squirts all over you, bro. You get dumpster juice on yourself. It's like every mixed soda and then butter from the bottom of the popcorn just squirting out at you. You don't want it on you, trust me. Well, he's pulling out this big bag nice and slow, nice and slow. I'm holding the trash can so he can pull it out easily, right? Turns into a two-person job. He finally gets it out. It's like a big pull and then a big release. Boom! As soon as he pulls it out, it swings and it hits him. Big old bag of trash can. Hits him in the stomach, hits him on the front of the legs. Bro, it hits the condom in his pocket and busts it wide open. His pants just have a big old wet stain right where the condom was in his pocket. Instantly, my brain starts exploding because I realize what happened. My piss is in his pants. I honestly can't tell you how much it probably sucked for him at the time, but I can tell you that it was really fucking hilarious for me. I've never been in a situation where my piss was in somebody's pants. I've never peed anybody's pants before. I peed my pants dozens of times. Never have I peed anyone else's pants. This doesn't happen. So I'm out there laughing about it, having a good time. Somebody else who works there comes out. They're taking out trash too. Hey, what are you guys laughing at? I just peed his pants. Do you know how much fun it was describing to many of the people that we worked with that I pissed his pants? It was so fun. It was so much fun. I feel a little bad, but I didn't feel that bad. I mean, I'm still making fun of him right now, dude. I peed his pants. I don't know, dude. That's funny as fuck. I mean, this is definitely one of the funniest things that I've ever seen happen. And it's really funny from my perspective. It's probably not as funny from his perspective. I really couldn't imagine what it would be like to have somebody else's piss in my pants. I don't want to find out. I never want to know. Well, when we go inside, guess whose mom is already waiting there to pick him up? We had no time to salvage this. We're like, oh yeah, we can do the whole exchange again. I pissed all the piss I had. I didn't really have to go again. I was going to try to squeeze something out, but I really didn't have to go again. We were going to try to find somebody else. But at this point, there was nothing we could do. His mom's ready to take him home. She's going to be suspicious of him going off into the bathroom for a few minutes with somebody else, right? She sees us when we're coming back inside. She sees the wet spot on his pants. She asks him, hey, what happened to your pants? He looked at me a little bit puzzled and I instantly jumped in. Oh, that's dumpster juice. Yeah, one of the trash bags from outside poured some stuff all over him. It's probably a mix of like soda and butter and grease and stuff. It's going to smell real bad. I'm sorry about that. And I'd known his family for a while. I'd known his mom pretty well. I was a family friend. She thought of me as the responsible one. There was a time they went on vacation to the Bahamas and they actually brought me along, paid for my whole trip because they wanted me to watch their son or be responsible for him. I don't know what got them to think I was responsible, but I was the responsible one. Well, I can tell you one thing. I was definitely responsible for the piss in his pants. Well, she takes him home and I guess it turns out she didn't drug test him when they got home. He told her that he wasn't feeling well and she kind of felt bad that he got dumpster juice all over him. Honestly, if somebody smelled like my piss, I'd feel bad for them. Not that it stinks or anything, but I do eat a lot of asparagus. No, I don't. So I'm going to ask you again, what lengths would you go to pass a drug test? Would you climb a mountain? Would you run a marathon? Would you do some sort of rigorous detox? Or are you okay with carrying around your friend's piss? So that's it. That's the time I pissed in my friend's pants. I do have a few more shenanigans or a few more stories I could tell involving this friend, and we might add some later. Some of them aren't weed related, but they are pretty crazy. And I referenced my first time smoking weed. I didn't actually get high my first time smoking weed. If you do want to hear about my first time getting high, you should definitely check out this video. Have a lit day, dudes.